Hi, this is Cynthia Horner from Right On Magazine, and I'm here with Charles Gregory, and he is a stylist extraordinaire, and he's going to talk to us about his illustrious career. So, welcome, Charles.
Yes.
Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, let's just jump right in.
Sure.
You are a stylist, but you're more than a stylist. So can you talk to me about exactly what you're doing these days and what steps it took for you to get to this level in your career?
Yeah. So, yes, I started as a wardrobe stylist, and I was styling for a long time. But as a wardrobe stylist, sometimes you like to expand upon your brand. And what I found is, me starting off actually as a designer. I used to create and make gowns and dresses. And what I found was a lot of the things that I would create, people would always ask, well, how do I wear this? How can I put this together, these colors? And you start to realize as a stylist, from putting people together, that you want to make different moves. You reach this glass ceiling where you're like, well, what else is out there, right? And so that's when I started looking into how to actually become a professional within the genre of styling, and get actually a credential. And so, taking that journey, I found outlets to be able to get credentialed in not only wardrobe styling, but also becoming an image consultant, right? And I think one of the things as a wardrobe stylist, as we think about our careers, we don't necessarily think there's something outside of putting somebody together and making them look fantastic, right? And me being a graduate of Temple University, shout out to all my TU fam. It's a research run organization, right? And so we start to understand, like, what is our why? Why are we doing this? And the how? How are these things being done? How are we putting people together and making them look fantastic? And that just, again, made me start to look about different ways to expand upon my why and to understand what I'm doing, which led me to organizations that credential you in wardrobe styling. And from there, I started to hear image consulting. Well, what is an image consultant? That was the question. Well, an image consultant primarily gives you that understanding of the why and the how, right? Knowing why you can put somebody together, put a dress on two twins, and for some reason that particular dress looks so much better on that one twin aside from the other, and you're trying to wonder why, and you don't know until you start to understand that it's something as simple as the palette or the undertone within that particular twin skin that makes that red pop on her just a little bit more vibrant, right? And so that's where I started to get into this whole dynamic of image consulting and just developing my brand and expounding upon there and helping other organizations and people, clients that I have, to expand upon their brand, not only visually how they look, but what people perceive about their brand.
Oh, that is very, very interesting. Now,
Thank you.
let's talk about some of the people that you worked with that some of the readers and viewers on our platform would recognize.
Sure. So earlier in my career, I had the opportunity to be really heavily involved in Temple University, and have reached to certain, celebrities that come in. So I was able to put a shirt on Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, as we know him. He calls himself Brother Love now. That's funny, but
Right.
yeah. But I put shirts on Dave Chappelle. Kindred the Family, Soul. I actually love their family. I've been working with them for years. Where I got my claim to fame as a celebrity wardrobe stylist was actually being able to work with an editorial magazine called Avenue Report magazine. ran by this beautiful sister, Toyin Oesu. But we had the opportunity to do full fashion spreads, right? And one of the fashion spreads that I was able to coordinate and put together was with America's Next Top Model, Nick Pace. And I was able to get a couple brands, Philadelphia brands, to work with that and put that together. And I was excited about that. So I work with top models. I work with entertainers, and constantly this is what I do as a wardrobe stylist, as a fashion stylist, but also being able to work with organizations and corporations now, just helping them scale within their brand.
Okay. Now, my next question is, now that we have social media platforms and people are able to have photos of themselves on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, et cetera,
sure.
Imagery has become much more important than a long time ago. What advice would you give celebrities that are starting out that may not have that much money to work with professional stylists, except when they happen to book a job and they're just working with that stylist for the length of that job? And then after that, they're back to square one, and they might have to go to a red carpet or go somewhere kind of visible. And what would you say that they should try to look out for so that they look their best when they're going to be seen by the general public?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, the one thing I would tell them to do is reach out to a great image consultant first, right? And the reason I say that is a great image consultant will probably be a wardrobe stylist also. And so if they can just kind of afford to get that initial kind of like, consultation piece together, what they can then take from that is they can know their color palette, they can know the type of clothing they should wear, they would know their body type, what works better with them as it relates to their garment or the clothes that they would put on. And they will also know the difference between wearing something for, as you mentioned, say, for example, an appearance, a red carpet appearance versus an editorial shoot, right? They will start to understand these differences. And so having that knowledge, the image consultant can send you away with that homework, so you'll be able to take those tools and consistently execute the look and the image that you're trying to convey.
I see. Now, what do you enjoy more, working with males or females?
Does it matter? That's a great question. It's different, right? I just say it's different. It really doesn't matter. I like working with women because women are more expressive, and they're more dynamic and more willing to expound upon the imagination of what they could be, right? Women shop all the time, and they understand clothes. It's very rare that I work with a woman client that don't necessarily know what she wants, because they already know this stuff, right? It's the men that has the challenge of, I don't know what I want to do. They'll see something on TV and just buy it and want to wear it, right? And so I think working with the two different genders are unique and different. You do have some very fashionable men. A lot of my friends are very fashionable, so they don't mind trying to experiment and push the needle, so to speak, the fashion needle. But I like working with both of them. Women, have different body types and different shapes, and so being able to expound upon the different stores that work better for them. But then you have men who are, different, they may be a little athletic, so they have broad shoulders, or they may be a little taller. So getting a XL or a big and tall fit to fit them, they're all pretty dynamic. So I like working with all of the clients. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, I interviewed a fashion stylist several years ago, and I asked her, what is the biggest mistake that a lot of women make? And she said that one of the mistakes that she's noticed in her career is that females have a tendency to either wear something that's a little too small or a little too large.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? And if so, what is your advice about that?
100% agree with that. I think society placed the stigma on what you need to look like and what those sizes and proportions are, where, you have people trying to fit into those boxes, right? And so, they may want to wear, say, for example, something that's called a bodycon dress that's pretty, fitting. They might want to put that on because they see someone else wear it, like, say, for example, a Rihanna, right? Or someone who has a Nicki Minaj that has a very nice figure, not knowing that a lot of those celebrities that they're paying attention to had alterations to their bodies, right? And so that clothing may not look the same way that the celebrity, what it looks like on a celebrity as it would look like on you, or even in the picture that you've seen it on Instagram or their store. They have models perfectly fitted for their clothes so it can look well, right? And so my advice would be to tell someone to not pay so heavy or be so heavily reliant on numbers, but be more heavily reliant on how it looks on your body type. And it's okay to say, you know what, I can't wear pencil dresses. I can't wear skinny jeans. I look better in a wide leg pant. I look better in a blazer. And it's okay because we are all different. None of us are the same. So it's okay to say certain things look better on me than it does on others. And some things doesn't look right on me. And so I choose to make sure that I look excellent in everything that I wear. And so I would 100% agree with that. That's wardrobe stylist. Yeah.
Okay. Now you look really incredible with your glasses.
Thank you.
And everything. Let's talk about how you put your look together for today.
Yeah, sure. That's funny. Thank you so much for the compliment. I appreciate that. But, I'm just, I'm a person that just loves to try different things that, I won't push the needle too far, but I just like to be comfortable in my clothing also. And after a while, you start to understand what works best for you and will look better on you, right? And unfortunately, I have to wear glasses. And so as a wardrobe stylist, for my creative background, I like a little color, right? Just a splash of color. And so that's what you would see here. Most of it is just, the blues. I have a sweater on, a chunky sweater, but I like blue, right? But you need the splash of color. And the splash of color is what usually highlights what you have, highlights your outfit. And then you go with the natural tones. As you can see with the glasses, it has a little brown, which is a natural color. Tan is the camels, but it matched the buttons and the other embellishments that's on the actual sweater. And so the goal is always to, whatever you put on, just make sure to balance, because that's what makes someone say, oh, there's something about that look that looks amazing. I just don't know what it is, right? I can generally take off my glasses, right? And it looks okay, right? But it's the accessory, which is always the key to anything, which is a tip that I tell everyone. It's always about your accessories. But just putting the glasses on alone just change the whole mood, change the whole visual communication that you're getting to say, oh, wow, something about this look that I really like.
Wow, that is incredible. And you are so interesting.
Thank you.
So let's talk for a moment about what some of your future career endeavors are going to be. Do you have anything that you can mention at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Thankfully, I'm a constant learner, right? And, I'm always searching, well, what's the next step? What's the next step for me? And lately I have been jumping into something that's called NFTs, right? And now I'm a collector of NFTs. But when we start to think of moving forward from digital tokens and what the future holds, we start to dig into something that's called the metaverse, right? This digital ecosystem. And one thing that, as I think, one thing that image consultants rely on, or the premise of what image consultants do, is rely on something that's called the ABCs, right? Which is appearance, behavior, and communication. Wardrobe stylists, first and foremost concern is how their clients look and dress, and does that fit that particular person, right? Image consultants try to take it a step further, right? We say, does this person look amazing? But understand why this person look amazing, right? And so once we understand the why, we can say this person look fantastic or amazing because of the undertones in the skin, because the clothes fit the body type, the proportions correctly, and it fits where they're going at the particular time, right? And so if what they're doing is conveying that message, which would be part of the ABCs, the communication, is what I have on communicating a certain message? And is it communicating the message that I want people to see? Well, if it is, and people are responding to that, then that's the other letter, which would be the B, the behavior. We want the way the nonverbal, our clothes are all nonverbal. We want that nonverbal communication to convey a certain message for the people who we are around, or our peers that we're around, to respond a certain way, which is their behavior. Now, I mentioned NFTs in the metaverse. Well, now I'm able to take that and incorporate those pieces, that identity, that information, to say, there's something else that we can start to put together that a lot of people they kind of get, but they don't really get, which is their digital footprint. So now we're talking about A, B, C, and D, their digital footprint. And their digital footprint is the social medias, is, their Facebooks and their IGs, and the things that they constantly put out there for people to see, and making sure that that's consistent. So what I do now is help, a lot of brands, a lot of companies and organizations, to make sure that their brand is communicating that particular message, and they can enhance and amplify their brand within a digital ecosystem like the metaverse.
Wow. You are really a pioneer. I think that what you're doing is definitely forward thinking, and I certainly intend to share this interview with Right On with some record company people that I know and some other industry folks, because I think they would want to utilize your services.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank
okay.
you so much.
Yeah. Now, my last question is, when you have free time and you don't really have to do much of anything, what kind of clothing do you wear?
Honestly, and a lot of people probably don't know this about me, I just wear loungewear. If I put on my pajamas, so to speak, and I just lounge around the house. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not trying to impress anybody but me and my dog, right? But at that point, it's about being comfortable, and I think that's the environment that we're in right now, right? If you think about years ago, right? I'll go back to kind of like the Harlem Renaissance era, right? If we think about what was appealing and how we were expressive in the way that we dressed, it was a lot of, showing people that we can be formal and we can be, dressed up, so to speak, dressed in the nines, right? And that was important during that era. And eras changed. Then we go into glam, right? And then we went into, when we talk about war, we go into, more military-esque looks with the, military type jackets, right? And, different genres change, right? And now we're going into this genre where, it's about being leisure. It's about being comfortable. And I think the pandemic had a lot to do with that, right? We were working from home. And so there was necessarily no need to wear a three-piece suit right? A double-breasted suit while we're working from home. I mean, some people will put on a jacket and tie. They still do it. And below, they got on pajamas or something like that, right? But the genre that we're in pushed the needle and it pushed the narrative of what being dressed up is. And now they're going a little bit more leisure and a little bit more comfortable. And so, I attribute that to the changing of culture, the changing of work culture, right? And you're going to see a lot more people become a little bit more comfortable. And now the idea of you have to go to a job interview is going to be less about full suit and tie and more about maybe business casual, right? And being comfortable with the way that you look. But, just to kind of put a period on that sentence, or period on that thought is, I like to be comfortable now. Even when I dress up, I dress to be comfortable. It's very rare that I wear shoes anymore. I wear a lot of sneakers, but it's more about fashion sneakers that may appear to be a little bit more business casual as opposed to a track sneaker, right? And so for me, that's what I do when I'm just kind of home, I lounge around. Sometimes I think of what my next look will be, but I'm constantly about just making sure I'm as put together as possible. That's is as appealing as possible and making sure that my clients look amazing.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for this amazing interview for Right On Digital.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your time and look forward to working with you again in the near future.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you to the organization. You guys have been pioneers in your own right, and you guys have been a foothold in a community. And I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. And anytime I'm always accessible. Pretty much on my IG, anybody can find Charles Gregory, so they can, get at me at Charles Gregory. Literally, you can call me on IG now. But I'm just thankful for the interview, and I thank you.
Okay, well, you have a great day.
You too. Take care now.
Goodbye.